Thanks, Ellie. Welcome, everybody. My name is Samir Hawk, and I'm one of the Power Platform product managers here at Bentley. And we're going to be talking about MicroStation Connect Edition. And we want to talk about some of the key innovations that we've provided in MicroStation Connect Edition to simplify design workflows in the building discipline. So we're really going to focus on our flagship design modeling application, MicroStation Connect Edition, but we'll also take a quick peek at some of the other products that sort of orbit around MicroStation and also enhance the Connect Edition experience. So I want to get started by looking at some of those key innovations and sort of, kind of categorize them a little bit for ourselves. And these are innovations really to sort of think about what are the workflows currently being used and how are those workflows handed off. So once somebody gets done with the planning phase, they have to go to the design phase. And as we progress through the different phases of a project, the handoff of data can sometimes be unreliable. So we sort of take a look at a variety of different things here. So to help us keep on the same page, we want to all be working within the same context. And it would be helpful if that's a real-world context, of course, because that'll make the project a lot easier to understand. We want to incorporate multiple disciplines. We want to be able to integrate virtually any type of data available. Allow you as a designers to explore more options, make it easier to produce your deliverables like your PDFs or your plot sheets, and make it easier to do business with Bentley. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to have time to go through all of these things in detail, but we'll just touch on a few of these and see some of the interesting things that we have done for you in MicroStation Connect Edition. So we've introduced something called context capture. And context capture is consumed, the products of context capture, these 3MX files, as you can see down here. The 3MX file is the output of a context capture, and that can be referenced or brought in directly into MicroStation. So context capture takes a series of digital photographs, and with other machine vision technology, it can construct a three-dimensional model from those two-dimensional digital photographs. Then MicroStation can take that in and do all sorts of interesting things with it. Now, with regards to accuracy, people are always very interested in, well, this is nice. I can construct a three-dimensional model out of two-dimensional photos, but how accurate actually is it? Well, the algorithm works out to be exactly 2 pixels of resolution, so 2 times the pixel resolution. So let's say that each, we have megapixel cameras and lots of megapixels in some cameras, depending on what kind of camera you got. The better the camera, obviously the better the accuracy. So let's say that you have each pixel covers 2 centimeters. So we all know a pixel is a little square. And if we measured that square on its edge, and it was 2 centimeters, then the accuracy of our mesh would be 4 centimeters. So obviously, if you get close up, you get much better accuracy. The farther away you are, the less accuracy you have. So the accuracy is also enhanced, however, through the use of GPS information. So this allows for even better, not only spatial location, but actual accuracy of the objects relative to each other. And then if you come in and you add in ground control with not just aerial photographs, but you add in some ground shots, then you will increase the accuracy even further. So it's getting to the point where the deviations between laser scanning and photography is within the error range. So really interesting and exciting technology here. So this will help keep everybody up to date as to what's going on. So you can go take the drone out there, fly it out, check up on your project, see what's going on with the construction, if you're on a construction site, monitor a facility, and then update the real world context of this project. So here you can see, for example, raster imagery. You have the actual 3MX file, and in the lower left there is MicroStation data that's being brought in. So this is all done with just some aerial photography. Here you see a college campus. We have a building that's been it's classified, so we can classify these meshes. Then we can drill into this object and find out about, for example, its maintenance requirements. So this essentially acts like an interface to your records for these different infrastructure assets. So instead of going to a web page, you actually go to this map, and here you can see it's pulling up some manuals for maintenance. So you can also do queries in here for work orders, for example, and you're looking for specific things here. And then you can actually query the campus, and shows you all of the buildings that have those work orders in place right now. So then you can drill into one specific building and take a closer look and see what's going on with those work orders. So again, this sort of turns just aerial photography directly into something a lot more useful, where it becomes kind of your hyperlinked interface to your assets and your projects. So, oops. All right. In terms of the building context as well, you have the ability to also use these context capture tools to help you with urban planning, disaster recovery and impact, as well as keeping track of construction sites, all through use of drones and photographs. Just to give you a quick idea, here's a large interchange in Japan. This was 250 21 megapixel photographs at 3 to 4 centimeters resolution per pixel, and it took about 4 hours on one computer. So really the innovations here in our workflows is to provide even more capabilities with our adjunct tools like raster point clouds and reality meshes. So 83 formats, 14 formats for point clouds. We also now handle scalable 3D meshes, which means as you zoom in, you see more detail. As you zoom out, you see less detail. So it's all being handled through a streaming service. Let's take a quick look at how we can incorporate multiple disciplines here. Now, with regards to having everybody staying on the same page, there's lots of ways where you go into your welcome page here. You get a welcome to MicroStation. You can see examples and learning and news and announcements. But this also allows us to sort of take a look at how we connect with Bentley. So what does connect mean? And connect really means going directly into all of the different portfolios that we have here, so different web properties, and bring that all together in one place to sort of connect you. So here you can see you have a project portal, and with your project portal you can see active projects. You can directly access all of these projects from here, and so you're accessing information that can either be stored on the web or actually just has its metadata stored on the web, so that you know who's working on this project, what type of software are they using, when have they been active in this project, and you can come up with all these wonderful dashboards. So the portals are really interesting. There's a personal portal which helps bring people together, and this shows events that you're working on, projects that you're working on, your own personal share, shows you what software you've been using. It goes to your Bentley communities and shows you your favorite communities to browse through. There's your software downloads and your service requests, so all on one page. That's a personal portal. The project portal, project portal here allows us to see users in the project, applications, again, a lot of project-specific things like issue resolution, other cloud services available for a project. And we continually add to this. One of the beautiful things about cloud services, of course, is that we can write new software and upload it, and our upload cycles are roughly every 2 weeks. So every couple of weeks we're putting something else up there to test out and try. That's really one of the advantages of cloud technology versus desktop technology. And we also have an enterprise portal. And the enterprise is for your entire company, so this manages all your users at your company and all of the products that your company has and all the licenses your company has. So lots of interesting things here for keeping people together. So this helps use cloud services to keep everybody on the same page. So just a quick review of some of the new features that we've added, and there are so many of these new cloud services coming out and have already come out. So there's Project Share, which is sort of like Dropbox or Google Drive for your projects. You can store DGNs and videos and JPEGs and point clouds and everything else up on Project Share. The Component Center allows us to share parametric cells. You can manage your deliverables from here, so you can set this is our 30% package or 60% package. And then who doesn't like a good dashboard? I love dashboards. I can look at dashboards all day long for some reason. So it gives you a good idea of where you are and some metrics on your project in the dashboard format. So incorporating these multiple disciplines really revolves around being project-centric. We have this concept of a hybrid cloud and desktop, so it supports both online and offline or hybrid workflows. So there is no you have to be connected to the cloud, or it's either use the cloud or don't use the cloud. We provide a hybrid workflow, which is flexible depending on use the cloud when you need it, when it makes sense to you, don't use it when it doesn't make sense to you. You decide. We do find that there's a substantial number of advantages to the cloud outside of all of the analytics that we keep track of. It also helps to publish and share data a lot more easily, as well as manage your transmittals, submittals, and RFIs as well, all those deliverables. So, lots of great stuff about the cloud. All right, let's take a quick look at some of the more interesting things that we've done in terms of technology. So, really, in simplifying building design workflows, we've been looking at, obviously, ways to make 3D tools more easily accessible, easier to use, more flexible, and one of the major efforts in MicroStation Connect Edition was this constraint modeling system. So this constraint modeling system allows us to actually apply both geometric constraints, so you can say something is parallel to something else. It allows you to add dimensional constraints, where you can say this distance is 4 centimeters. So you can control the shape and the size of an object using constraint technology. Now, MicroStation Connect Edition provides both 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional constraints, so that's very nice. In addition, these constraints are already ready to use the variable definition system that MicroStation has, as well as complex expressions. So this allows us to create intelligent 2-dimensional parametric cells or 3-dimensional parametric cells, which can then be stored in the component center, which is like your 3D warehouse, but with parametric cells. And then it's easy to manage, find, and edit all of your profiles and your cell libraries. So we sort of roll this up into one thing called functional components. So you can sort of see it operate here. You can quickly start to draw something. It doesn't have to be exact, but you can very quickly use the geometric constraints to say, I want these things to be parallel, I want these angles to be 135 degrees, and then you can now quickly start to control it. So you can modify this object, yet it maintains those interesting constraint properties. So here you can see that you can then take the 2-dimensional profile, turn it into a 3-dimensional object by using an extrusion command. And then now you can actually control the 3-dimensional object by manipulating the 2-dimensional profile. So that's really nice workflow there. Makes life a lot easier, actually. So you can then go ahead and start to do more interesting things like create variations on things. So a long and a short pressure vessel, for example, in this case here. It's relatively straightforward. You can see that once you've got all of your components built in, you can even then start to do some more interesting things like take sections and use that for creating sheets. And then once it comes time to place this stuff, it's actually pretty straightforward. It's just like placing your regular cell. You can just come over here and then see you can place the small capacity or the large capacity. And you can change them on the fly. So if you decide later on that you want to change from one variation to another variation, it's easy enough to do. And you can represent them in multiple ways as well. So, lots of interesting things that we've done here. Constraint technology was really critical in this release. It was one of the most important parts of our three-dimensional workflow that we've improved upon. Everything, by the way, in MicroStation really can take advantage of your constraint technology, so it doesn't have to be just 3D. You can use it in 2D workflows as well. They do allow for complex expressions, which is very nice, and allows you to create and share this through the cell library or the component center as well. This all makes things a little bit easier to manage and edit. And we've made also a lot of changes to the modeling part where we have created or are shipping only parametric solids now. So in the past you had the ability to create parametric or non-parametric solids. In MicroStation Connect Edition it is only parametric solids. In addition, we also have parametric surfaces available in MicroStation Connect Edition. So another big improvement in your workflows there. So with parametrics, we can then go ahead and go directly to our project deliverables, where we are interested in taking our three-dimensional models and creating two-dimensional sheets. And we've done a lot to make this workflow a lot faster, so it essentially ends up being one click with live sections within your three-dimensional model. You can then cut your three-dimensional model to that section and annotate it. So for example, you can add in dimensions, you can add in things like patterns, you can certainly add in notes with leaders, and as you can see, it looks like it's 3D there, but it actually, if you rotate it on edge, you'll see it's 2D. So here you can turn on dimensions, and then as you rotate it on edge, you can change the symbolization and make it look 2D, make it look like a sheet. So it's just viewing technology. But this is all live. You can do hyperlinks here as well, so you can hyperlink here to imagery so that people can see what it actually is supposed to look like in construction. And here you can see the actual sheet there in the elevation view. Again, hyperlinking to all sorts of interesting pieces of information, as well as, for example, something to do with your HVAC system. And the idea here is to make sure that there is an unambiguous communication of the three-dimensional technology in the two-dimensional sheet. So 2D sheets come automatically from 3D technology. Here you can create multiple sheets at once. This is another new innovation. So it used to be that you used to create one sheet at a time, which was tedious. So if you had to create 20 sheets or 5 sheets or something like that, you would do that one at a time. Well, with MicroStation Connect Edition, you can now create multiple sheets at one time. So instead of doing one at a time, here I'm going to do 2 at once. So here's the upper, and there's the lower part. So both sheets, as you can see, they get the correct sheets. I can do all sorts of interesting things here, as well as including sheet indexes, which is placed as a table. So if I change my numbering to 401 to 501, it automatically updates those things here. So you can see the sheet numbers update. And all of this stuff is driven around what we would call property-driven workflows. So again, these simplification of workflows, as you can see, it becomes really easy to place text because it's using the property-driven information behind the object to actually fill in the text. You don't don't actually even have to fill in the text. It does it for you. So there's all the information. If you need to change a number, you can go in and change a number or a value and place that particular object with a new number or value. So again, simplifying the workflow, try to use as much intelligence in the drawing as possible to help generate your drawings, because the drawings are what you're going to get paid for. So the faster you can get those drawings out, the faster you can complete the project. And one way to do that is to use intelligence in the drawings to help do things like automatically create tables, automatically populate labels, and automatically change your the way your graphics look, as well as automatically create sheets. So then automatic property-driven stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we did here. Probably this is the largest, one of the largest areas of development within MicroStation Connect Edition, was to sort of make the process of creating sheets easier. So automated creation of deliverables from the 3D model. Want to make sure that you don't have a disconnect between 3D and 2D. You can do one button publishing of multiple sheets. You can do hundreds of them at a time. You can do it in a grid format or along a path, and all sorts of other options available. Changes to 3D automatically reflected in your sheets. You can enforce your standards here through the use of templates. All sorts of great stuff here. And you can do that hybrid 2D, 3D visualization for review. And it keeps on going from there. So you have property-driven everything. Property-driven annotation, property-driven displays, property-driven reports, property-driven tables. All of this BIM-ready information is there in MicroStation, because MicroStation is BIM-ready. Lots of new tools available for the sheet layout and creation, as well as a new sheet indexing tool that keeps track of all of your sheets inside of a project. All right, getting close to the top of the hour here, but one of the big issues, of course, is integration of formats and versions. In a large project, you can have several formats, file formats, and several versions of those file formats potentially to deal with. And one of the great things about MicroStation and MicroStation Connect Edition is that it is the universal translator. It basically allows you to take in any input format and send it out to any output format. So lots of different vector input formats that we support, and lots of different output formats we can create. And that doesn't even count all the different versions. So the different versions of DWG, we support 7 different versions of DWG. So this is another place where we've put some effort and tried to make the workflows even easier, so that you have more file formats that you can work with, and there's more that you can do with them. So for example, the new reality mesh classification tools, where we were able to use a map as a way of hyperlinking to objects. That's done with the SHP file format from ESRI. So we're able to take even more data out of that ESRI file and use it inside MicroStation Connect Edition. So just continue to make these workflows work a lot better. Really, it is all about working as a team, whether it's in the design process, the actual construction process, the review process, or when you're actually out in the field. And all of these different file formats are actually able to come into one place, and that's the iModel. And the iModel has been substantially improved and added to in MicroStation Connect Edition. It actually now is its own little database. It's actually quite nifty little technology. The iModel is kind of like the PDF of the vector world. The iModel remembers how it was created. It can do clash detections. It can do issue resolution. So iModels work in the office, they work in the field, and they work for an owner-operator who might be actually inspecting and maintaining their properties. So iModels are really a great technology, and again, a big part of our effort in MicroStation Connect Edition is to make iModels work even better. So, lots of different formats again. We have data management tools like digital rights. We support many native formats, so there's no translation or importing required. And then the output of formats, publishing all sorts of three-dimensional formats, as well as three-dimensional printing, and especially our iModel format, which is able to not only show and display the vector graphic information, like the lines, circles, and arcs, but also all of the business data. And you can actually extract the business data using ODBC connectors to a spreadsheet or a database. So you can get all the information about your project from the iModel. It's a very handy little feature. Lastly, I just want to wrap up here with our flexibility in the way we do business. We do provide you with many different licensing options. If you want subscription licenses, we've been doing that for many, many, many years. If you want a single license, node lock license, for example, then you can do that as well. So the perpetual license is something that we do support as well. So you are able also to keep it any way you want to, switch back and forth if you need to, whatever's convenient for you. We also upgraded our Select program to the Select Connect edition. These include a variety of different Connect services, like our ProjectWise connection services, the new adaptive learning services, and our new personal mobility services. So a lot of new things that we've added to our Connect program. I'm sorry, our Select Connect program. One of those things actually is our comprehensive learning, where we have over 2,500 courses available. Courses range in 1 minute in length to 1 week in length. We have over 400 hours of material on MicroStation Connect Edition alone. Just on MicroStation Connect, there's over 400 hours. And now it's a benefit of your Select subscription. So it was previously priced per student, but now it's just a benefit of Select. This is all done through our Connect Advisor, which is a personalized support tool. It gives you learning recommendations to help you better access the type of learning and support that you need, as well as keep you up to date on news and announcements for your own professional development, like these webinars and tech talks. We also have a couple of new features that we wanted to promote. We're looking to integrate Lumen RT even more into MicroStation. So you'll start to see even more stuff that you can do with Lumen RT inside MicroStation, or set up stuff for Lumen RT within MicroStation. Lumen RT is our real-time rendering system. It is really fast, easy, and it's beautiful. So it allows you to generate really beautiful imagery, attention-grabbing imagery, cinematic quality very quickly. It does it in real time because it renders everything inside the video card. It doesn't use a CPU. That's why it's real time, or RT. The other things that's great about Lumen RT is that it has a really super simple interface. Believe it or not, this interface is actually designed with a 10-year-old. So if the 10-year-old could do it, then it got into the product. So it actually is designed sort of like around the kind of the Minecraft experience. The make it easy, make it quick. Don't confuse people with too many tools. So Lumen RT is really unbelievably easy to learn. It takes the average user somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes to learn this and actually produce stuff like you're seeing on the screen right now. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. It's actually that easy to learn. So Lumen RT, lots of interesting things that we're doing even more with Lumen RT and MicroStation Connect Edition. And then finally, just want to remind you about our context capture product, where you can use a variety of different input sources like drones or cameras to take photographs of an area and then turn that into a three-dimensional mesh. And now we can go ahead and do all sorts of interesting things like classify these meshes so we can look at individual buildings. We can turn the meshes into point clouds. We can do exact photo navigation so you can see where the photograph came from to show you a particular object. And then you can go ahead and visualize these meshes any way you need to, and do it in real time, or do it on a weekly basis or something like that, and enables you to see the different interesting things that are happening on a project site. So that's our context capture product. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions.